Welcome back to the Conservative Greek on this wonderful Friday. We had a crazy week. We had Democrats being Democrats, Trump doing his thing, Kamala fading, and here we are on this Friday. And still, to this day, this is the Democratic agenda. Hate Trump. That's all it is. Hate Trump. And you can see the Republican platform's got a whole lot going on, but the Democrats got nothing. And then in news today, we had the New York Post endorses Donald Trump, and the Washington Post failed to give an endorsement. Well, I think these non-endorsements are actually more telling than the endorsements. Kamala is failing to get endorsements, and people are coming out for Donald Trump. The momentum, everything is with Donald Trump, and this week was pretty obvious. And this has been the whole campaign too. You see they're teetering on collapse, and the news, Atlantic with their hit piece from John Kelly that was not even true, and they're just trying to hold them up as much as they can. It's the mainstream media versus us. But one thing is true. We're not going anywhere, because this is exactly a funny clip that reigns true, and this is why we want Trump.
This is a $500 a plate dinner. Good night.
Oh, 500. Oh, okay. All right, no problem. Here, put us down for 4.
In case we want seconds. We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.
I like that one. And earlier in the week, Kamala was asked why she is running. Like, how is Joe's mental acuity? And this is a question because that needs to be answered, because she wasn't nominated. She's running on a series of lies. Her whole beginning was a lie. Like, she was installed as a lie, okay, to cover up Joe Biden. I don't know why he's still the president. I mean, if Kamala really wanted to be president, why doesn't she just use the 25th Amendment? But that's for a different story. But here is her on Joe Biden's acuity and why.
On the ballot, there's only two choices. Yes. And I know that Joe Biden is not on the ballot. I understand that. But the reason that you are at the top of the ticket is because he dropped out of this race. And so I want to ask you, and it was largely because of that debate performance back in June. You defended him in the days before and in the days after as you were campaigning for another 4 years for President Biden. Can you say that you were honest with the American people about what you saw in those moments with President Biden as you were with him again and again, repeatedly in that time?
Of course. Joe Biden is an extremely accomplished, experienced, and capable in every way that anyone would want if they're president.
You never saw anything like what happened at the debate night behind closed doors with him?
It was a bad debate. People have bad debates. He is absolutely.
But that's the reason why you're here, and he's not running for the top of the ticket.
Well, you'd have to ask him if that's the only reason why.
What do you think?
I am running for president of the United States. Joe Biden is not. And my presidency will be about bringing a new generation of leadership to America that is focused on the work that we need to do to invest in the ambitions and aspirations of the American people.
It's a judgment question.
She can't even answer the most basic questions of why she hid Joe Biden's mental acuity. Oh, it was just a bad debate. No, he almost died on stage. That was not a bad debate. A bad debate is like what Tim Walz did, saying he's friends with school shooters. Okay, well, that was a horrible debate too. But it wasn't a bad debate. The guy is clearly not there. You see him now. He's clearly not there. He doesn't know what he's doing. I don't even think he knows where he's at half the time. She covered it up, and that's why she was installed. It was all a lie from the start. And the desperation is really getting rampant. And here is the Morning Joe Mika. It's Morning Joe's Mika talking about just absurdity.
His cozying up to dictators, his obsession with Hitler that has now come out, what he has said about our veterans, and what he wants to do with the military against his political adversaries. It's all huge news. This is the future that we're looking at in the next Trump term, if there is one. But this is what voters know right now, that he is killing us. I'm talking about us women. He's killing us. He is putting us at risk. He is making us afraid to have babies. He is putting our reproductive health at risk, and some women have died already because of this. So we can see right now what's coming. These headlines, and very good reporting, by the way, that shouldn't be questioned by idiots about what Trump has said about Hitler. That's incredibly important to know. But I do understand that people who are busy and that are people who are just tapping in may not be able to comprehend, because we've been free. We've been comfortable. We cannot comprehend that. And I understand that. I validate that it is hard to go from here to there. It is where we're going. I hope we don't find out the hard way. But what's happening with women right now is real, and it is playing out across America.
The desperation, the angst in her voice. What's playing out with women right now? What's playing out with women? Let's just talk, okay? Because this whole thing with abortion really annoys me, okay? Because what is the fascination with, they call it reproductive freedom, but all you're doing is killing a baby, okay? And when they say my body, my choice, but you understand that that's not your body inside of your body. That's a different body. Why is it when it's inside of you, it has not seen as human, but when it's outside of you, oh, they get all the rights of a human being. Now, this annoys me that we talk about just abortion and putting these women at risk. The fact is, our streets are not as safe as they once were. Women are not as safe on the streets. The border is wide open. People are not as safe. That is more damning to women than anything out there. Okay. And as for the family dynamic, you wouldn't even need to worry about abortion if you would fix some of the issues so if women don't feel like their lives are over for having a baby. Okay. And talking about terrible, awesome reporting. This is not awesome reporting. This is a propaganda that MSNBC puts out there. It's just obnoxious. Okay, they are worried. Why do you need to put this kind of stuff out there? Oh, a Trump presidency. He was already president for 4 years. The economy was greater. The streets were safer. People were much better off. What rights did you women not have? And what rights did you gain? Okay? And for all you complaining about Roe v. Wade and all that stuff that's gone down, Joe Biden's been president for 3.5 years. Kamala's been the vice president. Why does she have to wait for her presidency to do something about it? If she could do something about it, she would have already. So stop with this issue and saying, oh, women are so much worse off, because it is a farce. And it really, really angers me. But then, then another one, CNN, they got to get the other person, Hillary, come to the rescue. Here it is.
One other thing that you'll see next week, Caitlin, is Trump actually reenacting the Madison Square Garden rally in 1939. I write about this in my book. President Franklin Roosevelt was appalled that neo-Nazis, fascists in America were lining up to essentially pledge their support for the kind of government that they were seeing in Germany. So I don't think we can ignore it.
This is just baffling, okay? So Trump is Hitler, guys, because he's having a rally at Madison Square Garden, and there was a Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden. So according to their logic, no human being in the world today can have a rally at Madison Square Garden or go to Madison Square Garden because it will be a Nazi rally, right? Totally sound logic. So if Kamala went to Madison Square Garden, do you think they would be calling her Hitler? I don't think so. I think they would be saying, oh my God, she's going to fill up Madison Square Garden. Look at how amazing this is. People in New York love her. That's how the media would portray that. So this is the most flawed logic I've ever seen. Oh, Madison Square Garden, he's Hitler. This is such a joke, and it's pathetic. And, so CNN did their town hall. Anderson Cooper was Cooper was out there moderating it. And here are 7 great moments from the town hall. This clip really shows you how pathetic this town hall was, because according to many people, she didn't answer a single question and they didn't get anything out of her, which is standard, par for the course for her.
What weaknesses do you bring to the table, and how do you plan to overcome them while you're in office?
That's a great question, Joe. Well, I am certainly not perfect, so let's start there. And I think that perhaps a weakness, some would say, but I actually think it's a strength, is I really do value having a team of very smart people around me who bring to my decision-making process different perspectives. My team will tell you, I am constantly saying, let's kick the tire on that. Let's kick the tires on it.
Is there something you can point to in your life, political life or in your life in the last 4 years, that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes. And they range from, if you've ever parented a child, you make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
So you've been in the White House for 4 years. You were vice president, not the president. But why wasn't any of that done the last 4 years?
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done. Thank you, Eric. And you're absolutely right. You know it. I know it. I think most Americans know it. Price of groceries is still too high. Well, I may not be quick to have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific policy issue sometimes, because I'm going to want to research it. I'm going to want to study it. I'm kind of a nerd sometimes, I confess.
2022, 2023, there were record border crossings. Your administration took hundreds of executive actions. It didn't stem the flow. Numbers kept going up. Finally, in 2024, just in June, 3 weeks before the first presidential debate with Joe Biden, you institute executive actions that had a dramatic impact, really shut down people crossing over. Why didn't your administration do that in 2022, 2023?
First of all, you're exactly right, Anderson. And as of today, we have cut the flow of immigration by over half. In fact, the numbers I saw most recently, illegal immigration.
But if
is
it was
low.
that easy with that executive action, why not do it in 2022, 2023?
Because we were working with Congress and hoping that actually we could have a long-term fix to the problem instead of a short-term fix.
You couldn't have done one and both at the same time?
Well, here's the thing. We have to understand that ultimately this problem is going to be fixed through congressional action.
Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't.
But you're agreeing to a bill that would earmark $650 million to continue building that wall.
I pledge that I am going to bring forward that bipartisan bill. Let's just fix the problem.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense, because he actually didn't do much of anything. I just talked about that wall, right? We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
Oh, the border. She wants to strengthen it now. So here's what I got out of that. She's not perfect. We all know that. Yeah, she didn't need to say that. She makes many mistakes. Yeah, all the time, every day. She claims she's a parent. When she met Doug Emhoff, these kids were older. I don't know the ages, so I'm not even going to say that. But she acts like she parented young children, like under the age of 10. She never did. Like, I don't get that. She claims she can't think on her feet. She needs time to research. So if you're president and you need to make a snap decision, you're just screwed. Okay. And she claims, why didn't she fix the problem before with the border? because she was working on amnesty. That's what she was doing. Let them all in. Let's work on amnesty. And then it got so bad, it hurt her. Donald Trump was running on that issue. So all of a sudden, the border became something that they cared about. Okay. And she's got to fix the problems now because they're problems now. These are all problems she created, and now she wants to fix them. And then she's mad at Trump for pointing out the problems that she created. And then she claims Trump wants to just run on those problems. But guess what? You're in office. It's your job to whatever. And then, of course, the libs were angry. You know, why were you so hard, Cooper? Why were you so hard on poor Kamala? And here's his reaction.
Where, you know what, I got so many, I don't look at comments about myself, but I was looking up some comments about my grief podcast, and I came across this whole inundation from people who are Harris supporters saying to me online today, like, how dare you, what a betrayal that you would ask her these questions.
No,
and I'm like,
you
misunderstand what my job is. I'm not on MSNBC, and no disrespect, what they do is, they're very talented. But I don't watch it. I'm not interested in watching what these overpaid blow-dried anchors think. And I include myself in that overpaid blow-dried, although I don't blow-dry. I am overpaid. But I'm not interested in the anchor's opinion. I'm interested in facts and letting the viewers make up their own mind. So anyway, I'm sorry this devolved.
That's the first time that he was actually truthful. He's not interested in the anchor's opinion. That's what it should be. That's what journalism is. Ask the questions and let the people decide what they think of the answers. It's not you to give your... And then basically, he's basically admitting what we already know is MSNBC is propaganda. You know, it's all just their opinions on everything. Why was he so hard? Why did he ask this question? It makes her look bad. No, it didn't make her look bad. She looked bad because she is bad. Okay? Nobody has to make her look like shit. She is shit. You know? You can't clean up shit. Okay? Try it. It will still be shit. Just going to say it. And here's Trump's response when he was asked a question about that town hall.
She said during that town hall, she believes they've handled the border correctly. CNN pressed her on it. Would you have done anything different? Do you regret anything? And she said, quote, I think we did the right thing.
No, wait a minute. That she's handled it correctly?
Correct.
She said that?
She said that. She said, quote, I think we did the right thing.
We allowed 21 million people in. We allowed 13,099 murderers. We allowed mental institutions from all over the world. If she said that, look, she's a grossly incompetent person. And if she said that, they had the worst border in history.
I mean, they did have the worst border in history. And now they have to try and act like they didn't, and they have to fix their own problem. And so they sent Obama out, and Obama just isn't getting the same love and adoration that they thought he would. But here he gave Trump a Trump ad.
Too many folks here in Georgia and across the country are struggling to pay the bills. We all know the price of everything from housing to health care to groceries is still too high, and it hurts.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Yeah, we know everything's too high. Who's in office? Kamala and Joe Biden. You're basically campaigning for Trump every time they say it. And then, if you saw from the CNN clip, here's one that we turned into a Trump ad as well from Kamala.
Thank you, Eric. And you're absolutely right. You know it. I know it. I think most Americans know it. Price of groceries is still too high.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Yeah. I'm baffled. I'm 100% baffled at why they keep saying the prices are too high. We're going to take care of it. But then when she speaks, it just makes things worse because she goes price gouging. And I had an argument today with a liberal online, and it was funny because I was saying, no, the economy's worse off, and all he was bringing up was abortion. And I'm like, so you're running on abortion and killing babies, but you don't care. And he's like, women control everything and they control the elections. And I go, but women want lower grocery prices, lower gas prices, safety in their neighborhoods, don't they? Not just to kill babies. I mean, that's what, like, okay, they are more than that. And basically, he said that price gouging is the reason for this inflation. And I go, wow, this guy watches too much MSNBC and thinks that that's a legit thing when grocery stores have about 1.2 to 1.6% margin. So they're not price gouging. You understand that everything starts at the bottom and flows to the top. Okay. By the time it makes it to the consumer, it's already been through like 5 stages that are more expensive, all because of energy. So you don't fix that by just saying you're price gouging, your prices are too high, and do price controls or stuff like that. But let's hear Kamala talk about the economy, because she gives a great answer here. And basically she's asked, just listen to it.
What do you say to those people, especially ones who might be concerned that, doing a big closing argument speech at a place like the Ellipse may be leaning more into talking about the threat of Trump to democracy and not his threats that you see to the economy?
One of the things that I love about the American people is we can hold many thoughts at once. And one of the highest priorities for the American people right now is bringing down cost, and that is the priority of my agenda and will be the priority of my work when I'm elected President of the United States.
Oh, that will be her priority when she's elected, but not when she's in office currently. And people have many thoughts at once. Oh, wait. I'm having another thought right now as we speak. Oh, no, it's just an itch. It was just an itch, guys, not another thought. I mean, what kind of just hearing her speak? And then earlier in the week, on Wednesday night, I talked about her pathetic rhetoric and how Trump's been already shot at, and they caught a guy before he could get a shot off. And we are here still talking this stupid rhetoric. And here was her today when she's asked about it.
Mitch McConnell and Speaker Mike Johnson put out a statement comparing rhetoric that you have been using, comparing it to the man who's accused of an attempted assassination on your opponent, Donald Trump. Do you take their criticism seriously?
Well, listen, we all must speak out against any form of political violence, and I'm very clear about that. No one should be the subject of violence, much less political violence. But the American people deserve to be presented with facts and the truth. And the fact and the truth is that some of the people closest to Donald Trump when he was president, generals, including most recently John Kelly, a 4-star Marine general, have been very clear about the danger and the threat that Donald Trump poses to America.
So she basically doubles down on it and spews the John Kelly lie, which is many other people in the room who overheard that situation said it's totally false. He never compared himself like this. And basically, he was fired and he was sabotaging Trump, and Trump fired him. So he's a scorned ex-employee. And you can understand when you come through that, no one believes this guy. Many have come out. Even Pence's aide has come out against this. I mean, it's been debunked, and she still will go with this lie. But here's why they are really panicking, and this is huge. CNN just they can't hide it anymore. All the polls, everything is shifting to the right. And the left will tell you, oh, it's not falling. They're trying to hold her up, like I showed you earlier, as much as they can. But here is CNN.
Lots of people on the Democratic side of the equation say, how could it be possible that it's tied? Why is Harris not running away with this? Well, it's the environment that she's running in. We asked folks, your financial situation over the past year. So today compared to a year now, a plurality, nearly half, 49%, say they are worse off today financially than they were a year ago. 35% say they're about the same. Only 16% say they're better off. I'll also just say we have Joe Biden at a low approval rating at 36% in this poll. We have the wrong track number. 7 out of 10 Americans say we're in the wrong direction. Things aren't going well. It's a rough environment if you're running in the incumbent party.
Yeah, so for the incumbent party, it's extremely, 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 extremely tough right now. Many are worse off. 49% they gave are worse off than they were a year ago. That is crazy, crazy numbers. How do they expect to win and pull off a win? 16% say they were better. Now, under Democrat rule, that's why the elites love them, is the rich get richer and the middle class gets poorer and poorer. That's usually what happens under Democrat rule. And they have a very low approval of this presidency. And who is tied to this presidency? Kamala Harris. But do you know she wants to like act like Trump's the incumbent, and that's what's funny. This whole campaign, and Trump was on a campaign stop, and look at one guy give him his Purple Heart. This is like what people think of Trump.
What a great job you've done for our country. But I would like you to have that shirt that has my name on the back. Yes, sir, it has my name on the back.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
And that's the original. I can see that.
Yes, sir. You got the. Okay. You know what you do? Yes, sir. Give it to me. You're a nice looking guy.
Yeah, people are starting to see through the mainstream media's bashing of this guy. People are starting to wake up. And Democrats, I want to tell you something. If you don't wake up, election night will be a surprise of all surprises for you. And it will send you into liberal hell where we'll have meme central. It will be crazy. Okay. But here was the crowd size. Oh, we love crowd sizes. I know it sets the libs off. Here's the crowd size in Georgia for Trump. You can see that there's people outside. There's overflow because so many people want to get in and be part of this movement. And I know the Dems will say, but Kamala had a big crowd. Yeah, here's her crowd. After the celebrities, Bruce Springsteen, Obama, all the celebrities who are probably on the Diddy tapes, who now are coming out in desperation because they want to save their ass. Here's what the people did when Kamala started speaking. Tell me if they're enthused.
Forward, and it is time to turn the page.
Oh, wait, can we play that again?
Forward, and it is time to turn the page.
Oh, wait, that lib I was arguing today that I told you guys about, he said they were just going to the bathroom. You know? Isn't the main event the last speaker? You don't want to miss that. You would have gone to the bathroom during the previous speakers. But no, the main event is the previous speakers who are the big shots, the celebs. And then this is what happens.
Forward, and it is time to turn the page.
All right, I will stop playing that. I'm sorry. You know, I shouldn't have done that to you guys that many times. But here is Trump having some fun during the Vance town hall. He called into Vance's town hall, and Trump is doing a lot of work, and it is starting to pay off.
So, Senator, you're going to want to sit down for this one.
Oh, no.
Not unlike Beetlejuice. If you invoke the former president's names too many times in a row, he's going to want to weigh in on what is being said about him. And we have a call right now from former President Donald John Trump. He wants to weigh in. Mr. President, I know there's a little bit of a delay. Can you hear us? And what is your question for the senator?
Well, I can hear you, Chris, and I do have a question, and I think it'll be quite an interesting one. The answer should be easy. How brilliant is Donald J. Trump?
Take your time. Think about it.
Well, first of all, sir, this is supposed to be undecided voters. I would hope that I have your vote, of all people. But here's first of all, sir, of course, you're very brilliant, and we both agree. We both agree that it's important to have very smart people running our government. But here's the thing about President Trump that, aside of you, sir, if you'll forgive me for telling this story, that I think often people don't see. And of course, I got my beautiful wife here in the front row. And one of my favorite moments with President Trump is we were hosting an event for him near our home in Cincinnati a few months ago. And of course, you know, my wife was a little bit nervous to really, you know, talk to the president of the United States. And he asked her, what do you think about your husband being in public service? And she gives, if you know my wife, a very diplomatic answer.
sir, he really cares about the people of Ohio. He's thrilled to be able to serve them, and I'm happy to support him however I can. And President Trump chuckles and goes, yeah, my wife hates it too. and the thing that it did is it just immediately broke the barrier. And it wasn't the former president. It was just a person talking to my wife. And I think you guys were able to have a nice conversation. But that ability to relate to anybody in any environment, I think that's the true brilliance of Donald J. Trump.
That's very nice, and I appreciate it.
That is a very powerful thing, the ability to relate to people. And that's one thing Kamala really struggles with. Who can honestly watch her and not see how disingenuous and how everything is, and I will say staged and fake. But what I mean by that is not that, like, because all these people, they're under scrutiny, they're threats to their lives, okay, when they're out there. They have Secret Service. They can't just go into a place. So when I say staged, I'm not meaning that. For her, it just seems like everything's scripted. Everything is just disingenuous. Trump can have a conversation with a worker and connect with that person on a level that Kamala can never connect. And that is why Trump is winning and pulling away. Did you see him at McDonald's? Okay. And I know that angered the libs, not because he did it and that they wanted it to fail. The fact is he looked so human and looked like he was connecting with the workers and connecting with the people. It was a staged thing. Obviously, the McDonald's was closed because he is the former president. He's got Secret Service. You can't just have everybody when his life's being threatened. So yes, it was staged. But he still worked the fries. He worked the fries more than Kamala did. But here, let's look at this next video because Kamala keeps saying how he's tired. He's unfit to be president and stuff. But look what he does on a day and then compare that with what Kamala does in a day. And the Trump campaign put out this video just showcasing all this stuff. And I watch 95% of his rallies. I watch 95% of his events. And I can honestly say if I was traveling, doing the things he's doing, even today, he went on Joe Rogan. And instead of flying to Michigan right after from Texas, he decided to do a press conference in Texas right there because he could. And he did another thing and he's doing a rally. He had 2 rallies yesterday. He's constantly doing stuff. But here was him last week. And this is a day in Trump's life.
Starting our day off bright and early, it is 7:30 a.m. and we are leaving Trump Tower and heading to Fox Studios. President Trump was excited to join Fox & Friends live from the famous curvy couch. Never far behind are the men who keep our boss safe every day, and we are thankful for them. The day continues rolling as he joins Dan Bongino for a live stream, and he never leaves without signing a Maga hat. Now on to our third interview of the morning with legendary WWE's Mark Calloway, also known as The Undertaker. We film a quick TikTok, depart the city, and 2 hours later, we are wheels down in Michigan. President Trump stops by to shake hands and thank the tireless Michigan campaign team. The motorcade heads to our next stop, where President Trump arrives to speak at a roundtable on building America's future. If you're lucky, he may even sign your shirt. Pulling into our final event of the day, and before he heads on stage, he always makes time to take photos with law enforcement. And now the fun begins. There is nothing like the energy of a Trump rally. President Trump delivers his promise to make America safe and prosperous again. It's not over until you see the iconic Trump dance. And just when you think he might be finished, he has his 4th interview of the day and calls into a tele-rally for Carrie Lake. It's 1 a.m. back in New York City, and that's a wrap.
So did you see that? That was 8 separate things on one day. He didn't get back till like 1 a.m. to New York. Kamala, who's unstable, unfit. Many with him who are traveling with him are saying they're tired and can't keep up with him. And he's the older one. So before you talk, Kamala, please, please, please start thinking, because you're making yourself look like a fool and you're just moving further down in the polls. Thank you to all 61 of you watching live. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Leave a comment if you're on YouTube. If you're watching on X, go to my profile. Click on my pinned tweet. Go to my YouTube page. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment on the video. I love each and every one of you. Until next time, I'll see you Monday night for my Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. I love every one of you. Thank you, and so long.
Oh, no. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
You exist in the content.
It isn't you're on television. Mike, look at her. No.